Good morning, guys. So, Ms. Esraa will be taking you the class today. Okay? So, everyone be silent, and anyone have questions in between, write it down and she will be answering you at the end. Okay? Thank you.
No questions. No comments.
Full questions.
Yes. Hello, welcome today. I'm just so happy that I met all of you because I've been supervised some of you and others I've never met before at home. I'm really glad that I met you today, all of you. Thank you so much. You're doing an amazing job. I'm really proud to be here today to give you I'm gonna take a small introduction to the VB-MAPP world. Okay? So VB-MAPP is essentially been done by Mark Sandberg, and Mark Sandberg, who actually was one of the writers that wrote ABLES program. So who knows ABLES? Who did some work with ABLES? Anyone here knows ABLES?
Here.
Yeah, besides that, because we're not gonna talk to him today. So what do you know about ABLES?
I don't know. You don't talk to me.
So have you worked with it?
Yes.
So what do you think is the difference between ABLES and VB-MAPP?
ABLES, I feel it is more simplified and it gives an easy pathway for a child to learn according to it. That's what I felt in ABLES compared to VB-MAPP.
Okay, so ABLES was done first, and then Mark Sandberg, actually with John Brington, was a friend of him, actually wrote essentially the VB-MAPP in 2008, and then they broke up. Okay, so Mark Sandberg wanted to do a program that is essential for ABA science and ABA training strategies. Okay, so what it did, what's the advantage of it? We're gonna talk about that in a bit. So why use VB-MAPP? Who here used VB-MAPP and think it has an advantage? What do you think the main advantage of VB-MAPP program? Anyone? Actually, it's an interactive. I don't want to be, the one that is talking to. I need you to participate. So, what do you like about VB-MAPP? Anyone?
Focus on verbal behavior.
Okay, verbal behavior. Yes. Okay. Why do you like it?
Because will be assets for many huge skills. It's important for the child. Okay, like to play skills and.
No, I'm talking about why do you like it? What's your personal favorite in it?
It's easier to work.
Why do you like it?
Yes.
Because it's focused on verbal change.
Focus on verbal behavior. Anyone else?
Step-by-step progress.
Step-by-step progress. Okay. So, anyone else? For speech therapist, because VB-MAPP, I see them all, no one talked about it. So, why do you like VB-MAPP?
Well, it's not personal favorite, but what I feel is, as a speech therapist, I feel is VB-MAPP is more of structured approach, whereas we don't use structured approach to work.
Yeah. Actually, what structured approach really has its power, its power because of it uses applied behavior analysis.
Yes.
That's the main advantage. Mark Sandberg wanted to do a program that is based on applied behavior analysis strategies. Well, this is why he made VB-MAPP. In the, the whole idea is to do it on the VB-MAPP to approach the applied behavior analysis, okay? Strategies and training and all of that. So VB-MAPP actually works on something that called verbal operant or an operant level. What an operant level means, which is actually speech service, we're gonna like that. Operant level means is maybe the child has verbal, communication, but he doesn't know how to use. It's about functional language. Functional language. This means that maybe I know English, I did it in school, I took it for all years, but I never use it. That's non-functional skill. This is based on language. So operant level means that maybe you have the skill, but you never use it. That's where you get to use VB-MAPP. VB-MAPP actually focus on the operant level of a skill. Operant level of a skill means that you do acquire the skill and you have to use it. So now VB-MAPP is all focused on the operant level, which is actually, when it came out, it actually, get a huge public to work for and love it because of that level, the operant level, the functional of language, okay? So we don't need to see that VB-MAPP is actually 170 skills for 16 domains, okay? So what else is the most advantage besides using ABA, applied behavior analysis strategies, and also for using the operant level and focusing on the operant level? What else? It actually advantage that it really assess and give a quantitative degree of what level the child is now. So it measures with a degree, it gives you a degree that this means that I can measure and really keep track of what's gonna happen. He's now here, and after a while with training, we're gonna measure again and track the skill and see a quantitative degree, and then assess what can be changed, what can be modified, what can be adjusted to really actually acquiring the skill. That's what VB-MAPP advantages are, which is actually has been never done before, because of course we have train children with Lovis. Who here done some Lovis with the kid before? I know all of you, it's like 2 or 3 years in the field. Yes. So no one trained a child with Lovis before. Okay. So Lovis, actually, what Dr. Ivor Lovis did is he really set the rules that VB-MAPP actually uses. But VB-MAPP really added on Lovis, because VB-MAPP actually did focus on classroom routine and also on the playing skills. However, Lovis wrote on the Me book about the playing skills and how it is essential for children to acquire language, but he never put it on Lovis program. He never did that. What VB-MAPP did is that it added the playing skills, especially individual and also group playing skills, which was never done before. Okay, that's what VB-MAPP advantages are. Also, it did focus on something that was never done in Novus, generalization. What generalized mean is that it can not just acquiring skills, but also use it in different environment, with different people, with different, set of places. That's what was the main difference and the main advantage between VB-MAPP and Novus. So, in another word, you can say that Novus or VB-MAPP did come to, how is it called? To actually empower the Novus strategies. Okay, so what else VB-MAPP has and Novus didn't have? It actually has both of the structured, learning and the natural environment learning, the non-structured, the play learning, which was never done in Novus. VB-MAPP actually uses the DTT, discrete trial teaching method, and also the natural environmental teaching, which was never done in Novus. When he actually talked about natural environment, but never put it in the program. But VB-MAPP actually uses these different structures. So which was, like a thumbs up for VB-MAPP. It really had like the idea, promoted natural environment playing and all of that. That playing skills can really be a learning skill. Okay, great. So what else? These are mostly the most advantage of VB-MAPP for now. What do we need to talk? We need to talk about verbal behavior. It's really focused on verbal behavior. What does verbal behavior means? Anyone can tell me? Anyone wanna participate? What is verbal behavior? There. بلاش الصمت الرئيس يا جماعة. Anyone? I just help a brother out. Verbal behavior.
What they need, like manding.
What they need is
What?
what they need,
I'm sorry.
what they need, what the child what they need.
Manding.
No, I'm talking about what verbal behavior means, what it includes. Yes, I know it's about children, but I'm talking about what is the definition of verbal behavior according to you? What do you understand when I say verbal behavior?
When the child needs something, the child is asking for it. You can say
Other than child, what is the whole idea of verbal behavior? What includes?
The spoken action.
The spoken action, okay.
perception.
هقول عربي
اوكي.
هو احنا ممكن نقول مثلا ان احتياجات الطالب سواء كانت في ان هو يطلب او ان هو يعطي استجابات صحيحه لناس ثانيه، يتبع تعليمات، ان هو يسمي اشياء هو عايزها.
تمام.
ده بالنسبه
المهارات التواصليه اللي بتشمل اللغه اللفظيه غير اللفظيه، الايماءات، الاشارات، الكتابه، التحدث.
بس لو الترجمه تنزل. That's what I'm talking about. So Mr. Muhammad said that it actually includes two things: the spoken language that we are now talking, and the second thing is the non-verbal language. Is there a thing that called non-verbal language? Of course. This is me doing a non-verbal language. Yes, this is me doing a non-verbal language. It's the face expressions, the eye movement, the body language. All of these are non-verbal language. So when we have a child that is nonverbal, what's the first thing we teach? Yes, exactly, gestures. Yes, a gestural, skill that we tell him to point, to turn to the thing that he wants, or the thing that we are talking about. That's receptive skills. Okay, that's receptive language. So this is what what verbal behavior includes two things. The spoken language, when we teach him, like, for example, manding. So you get a nonverbal manding, and to try to teach him manding with the nonverbal kid, then what you do, then to turn to the thing and point to the thing, and then maybe get the thing, right? So with the verbal child, what we do, we'll learn him give, and then ask with a full sentence, maybe 1 word, 2 words, 3 words, etc. That's what a verbal behavior is. Okay. So in order for me to make better thing, okay. Okay. So what do we have to do? We have to talk about its components before we get to the verbal behavior, level. A milestone assessment, which is actually what we're gonna talk about, like Tact, what else? Listener responding, feature function class. Also, we have like intraverbal, we have Echoic, we have motor imitation. What else? It actually is like 14 milestones. Have you known that before? Have you read that book? Have you read the protocol before? Because it goes from under to above. What's above? It's actually linguistic structure, which means in a common language, it's grammar. Grammar of the language, how to use language correctly, okay? So what else? We have like basic principles of math, writing and reading also. Intraverbal, which is basically a back and forth conversation. I ask something and you simply answer. So I go to that man and says, hello. Okay, so how are you? What's up with you today? How are you? See, this is intraverbal. So if I say to Mr. Tareq, so what do you think of the lecture so far? He's going to say
about VB-MAPP.
What do you think of the lecture so far?
So far, what she's been teaching.
What
she's been telling. Her class, her present.
Yes, I know. What do you think? What do you think? I want your input. رأيك.
رأيي إن لسه في البداية بس الموضوع بالنسبة للأطفال
ده ما بدأ هو أنا بسأل سؤال حد بيرد عليا تمام على حسب السؤال اللي أنا سألته تمام؟ طيب حلو قوي. So what else? Milestone assessment actually includes these levels. So who benefits or who the age levels in this Vbmapp? How many levels do we have for age? Yes, 3. From 0 to 18 months, and then from 18 months to 30, and actually from 30 to 48 months. Oh, does this really mean that when I get over 48-month children, that I said no, they don't take Vbmapp?
لا مش لازم.
Yes.
مش لازم.
Why is that?
لأن في مهارات أصلا بتبقى ناقصة في حياة ناس كتير المفروض إن هم يعملوها. هو بيعلي المهارات دي أو على الأقل بيوصل لأقرب مرحلة عمرية للمهارات دي.
Yes. So these age preference actually works. Hello, Mr. Mahmoud. I see you are sleeping. I feel you. It's actually like a language, lecture for him. It's okay, what I do. No. This means that from 0 to 18 months, this means like a year and a half children. I'm gonna tell you what are the skills that is required in this age, okay? So when a year and a half, and also goes up to, 30 months, how old? How old is 30 months? They are good with math. 2.5 years. 2.5 years. Because actually 2 years means 24, and with another 6 months, which is half, that is 2.5 years. So from a year and a half and 2.5 years, actually, I'm gonna tell you what are the skills that is acquired for a children in this age. Okay, so from 30 to 48, what is 48 means in age? 48 years. 4 years. So when I get a child that is 4.5, 5 years, 6 years, 7 years, actually we get all ages. So what does that mean? And I do an assessment and I say, oh, I can do that. It's about, it's still 4. No, this is about the skills that is acquired in these age. And most of ASD children, which is actually why this program was really intended to autism spectrum children, is to be included with these. So they already have developmental issues, developmental delays, which can be referred to in the age.
زي الفرق بين العمر العقلي والعمر الزمني.
Yes. Okay. So Milestone's assessment actually sees that there are 16. We already said that. So, and we already said talked about the age. So here is the actual main difference that been never done before in any program. The barriers assessment. What is the barriers?
معوقات السلوك نفسها.
It's not about behavior.
لا
It's about
لا يعني اصل ايه؟ انا دلوقتي لو عندي مثلا مشاكل سلوكيه بتاثر عليا في الشغل.
في حاجات مش مشاكل سلوكيه بس.
بس انا كاللي شفته في البروتوكول نفسه ان هي تعتبر مشاكل سلوكيه، يعني مثلا في السلوك اللفظي هو مقسمها لي ل4 مراحل. المرحله الاولى مثلا ان انا لو هو العياط والصراخ بتاعي بيأذي العمليه التعليميه، يبقى كده يبقى 1 أو 2 هو بيعلي كل شويه في ليفل السلوك نفسه.
Actually, what barriers assessment means that the actual problem that keeps the children from being a learner, that actually withhold his learning process. That was never done before in any program before VB-MAPP. Outside. Just kidding.
يعني معوقات العمليه التعليميه مثلا.
Yes, that what withhold his learning process. This means that whatever, we get to the program and we teach, and in some point we do sit still. We never have to go from there. We never knew that. This is because of the barriers. So what VB-MAPP did, it introduced us to actually set an assessment for a barrier, to actually know where is the problem with this kid, why isn't he learning anymore? This is what a barrier means. So it gives us how to assess on a 24 barriers. What is a 24 barrier? Anyone knows?
المعوقات سواء في اللفظ او الوسواس القهري او المعوقات او المدخلات الحسيه، المدخلات بتاع الاستجابه استجابه المستمع، مدخلات التهديد اللفظي، مدخلات العاطفه، مدخلات التسميه.
This is actually the problem behavior. Okay. This is actually one type.
كل ده واحد. طيب شوف تعالى.
math defect,
Yes.
social defect,
Yes.
intraverbal defect.
Yes. Okay. So transition actually is a big barrier, and we already gonna take an assessment only for transitioning. Transitioning is the big problem with learners. Big problem with mostly every ASD children. Why is that? What's a transition? Who knows what's a transition?
مرحلة change.
Yes, changing. Which is actually, changing means, okay, if I told you that today, instead of getting, to do whatever you do in vacation, on a weekend, I say you have a workshop here today. What you gonna say? Oh my God, that's transitioning. If you are unable to attend today, it's a transition problem. This means that you have a problem in changing the environment, changing the elements in your daily routine. That's what transitioning actually means. See, so it's a problem for human behavior, which is applied behavior analysis is about. It's about analysis of human behavior. All of us actually have problem transitioning, actually have problem generalization, which is in a barrier, failure to generalize. That's actually a big, barrier for learners, for all of us. If I told you today that you already know how to drive, some of you, okay? That you're gonna be, I'm teaching you to drive, to go to the supermarket, to go to the home, to go to work, to go to all of these. And you only know, I can only go from work to home and from home to work. What is it? It's a generalization failure, which is in a barrier assessment. That's a barrier assessment. That's a barrier for you because you already know the skill, but you don't practice in different environments. That's what generalization. And most of our children, most of our ASD children actually, most of our children, ASD children actually have this difficulty. So barriers is about difficulty, okay? So what else? Who else knows what can be a barrier for learners? I'm sorry? Negative behavior, which is problem behavior, which is a big barrier because you're already trying to teach him something and he's in a different world. He's in repetitive behavior. That's a barrier, a big barrier that we have. Repetitive behavior. He's actually, you are trying to tell him, show me glasses. And he's already doing this and this, whatever the repetitive behavior he's doing. So that's actually a big barrier. It's a difficulty, it makes him difficult to learn. It's a big barrier. What else?
Embedded scan.
Yes, failure to visual scanning. Visual scanning actually means that maybe I'm trying to show him that like stuff in the cards, and once I change the visual, once I change the location of the card, he's like, he never get it. He looks like this. He never finds it. Or maybe he only chooses what comes beside his left hand. And most of them do that, actually. So I'm gonna put the wrong card for him, and he's gonna choose it no matter what. That's failure to visual scanning. He is failing to actually see what I'm giving him in a card. That's visual scanning. And most of them, actually, and OT can really help with this problem. Hello. Yes, nice.
محمود الكلام عليك يا اسطى.
ما هو حتى لو الكلام عليه مش هيفهم.
No, actually, he has problem with the he has problem with the English.
Yes, I know. That's why أنا لا أنت زي الفل وكمان أنا بس بعكسك. حق عليا عشان ما تنامش بس من الحق عليا. وأنا آسفة والله على الإنجليزي حق عليا. Okay. So these are the barrier assessment, which we included most of them, like these are some big difficulty we do encounter every day with our children. So the transition assessment. As we said before, transitioning can be a difficult step. Transition assessment means failure to actually changing, to actually moving from a set to another, from environment to another, from which we mostly difficult that we have transition in our children that they goes. If they like an activity and you said, okay, now we have to finish now and go to another activity, and he already liked that, he goes like, oh, I'm not gonna do that. That's a transitioning failure. So transitioning, actually, where it is important, the classroom can really, tell me about that. Why transitioning is important?
نشاط بنشاط.
اديني فرصة.
يعني مراحل
حد يصور الليلة دي؟
ومراحل التعليم.
مايس نتقابل بقى. Transitioning in classroom, actually a big difficulty. So why would Sandberg put a transitioning only for assessment? Why? Because he wants the children actually in the in the end, we want them to go to school. And when they go to school, it's actually a full set of environment that is completely different from just structure, from session, one-to-one session. So this is where the transitioning failure actually manifests, right? Because, okay, now we have to go to another class, to another set of environment, to another, move from activity to activity, and then he gets like these problem behavior already done. He gets refusal, he never accepts the change, and he, actually withhold the classroom routines, the classroom daily activities. So when you know that there are barriers of actually transitioning, he's like gonna not just withhold his learning process, he's actually gonna withhold all of his other peers, all of his other, colleagues in the classroom. So that's actually a big transitioning, and this is why it was put. It actually uses to measure whether it's not able to go to school, whether he's not, he is gonna be good at school, he is actually gonna accept school and work with school daily routine. And this is why transitioning was actually put in an assessment that it is solely for transition. حد كده من العربي فاهم حاجة؟ حد كده من العربي مش فاهم حاجة؟ يعني؟ لا صوري انت بس ما انا بشرح لك البيت. Okay. So now we have to talk about the fourth component of VB-MAPP, which is task analysis and supporting skills. A big part of, now we've done the three major assessments. So now what do? We have now put scoring and did, check with a quantitative degree, as I said before, a quantitative degree for VB-MAPP. And we get now, okay, we now know where he stands in our assessment. What is the degree he gets? It actually says to me, where does he stand from the age skills that we are talking about? It's actually mapping. It's about putting a map of where his location is from the actual skill learning process. This is what VB-MAPP is all about. It's about putting a child in a location from what skill he is now need to be acquired and need to be learning. It's about mapping. You know what a map is, right? Map دي خريطة. Yes. So verbal behavior, milestones, assessment, assessing, processing. That's what MAPP is all about. It's putting the child in a location that I can see, now we're here, where can we go from here? That's about VB-MAPP. That's when we came to task analysis. Task analysis actually sees, okay, you need to teach him manding. Now he has no level of all. We're gonna start from level 1. That's according to the assessment I already took, the milestone assessment that I already took. And actually, it goes like now we're gonna, what's the first, skill we're gonna learn or teach him in level 1 milestone of manding.
ان هو يتعلم طلبين او يطلب عن طريق كلمتين او اشارتين او ايميل.
That's it. So
التاسك اناليسيس بيبقى ليها طريقه ثانيه لان هم يربطوها على حسب الهدف اللي بعديه والهدف اللي قبله.
Yes. So we have, like we say, it is a main skill. And it goes back branching to, a set of task analysis. We divide it into smaller tasks. Task analysis means, which is actually in the applied behavior analysis principles, it's dividing a bigger task into smaller tasks. That's what task analysis really actually means. So this means that I'm going to teach him, and what else? I'm going to skill track his performance. What skill track means? That I'm going to say, how many times did he do trials? We actually do 10 trials, right? In DTT, we do 10 trials. And then, what else? What else we do in DTT sheets? Whoever here do DTT sheets, gonna answer. Yes, who? Me.
لازم يعطيني 3 محاولات 80% بتكون متتاليات. غير هيك لازم نكتب نوع المساعدة لو ساعدناه، مساعدة كلية، جزئية، مساعدة بقيمة، حسب شو كانت المساعدة. ولو كان في نوتس بالجلسة مثلا كان عنده سلوك، كان عنده كذا، لازم ينكتب عشان الأخصائي اللي بعدها يكون عارف.
110. طيب لو أنا حابة أقول إن أنا دلوقتي I'm gonna translate. She's saying that when DTT actually, what we record is how many times did he do correct trials, right? And what else? Do we just put that he did correct, or we just put, what else? What kind of prompts we did for him? Reinforcers, yes, thank you. Reinforcer, what kind of reinforcers did we use with him? What kind of different prompts? So, who here can tell me what is prompt?
بشكل عام ولا أفسرها؟
معايا مش حصة لغة. حاول يعني.
أصل
يعني بتحاول. يعني
لا أصل هو المساعدات كتير.
أيوه.
ماشي هو في مساعدات عن طريق بتبقى جسدية.
يعني دلوقتي أنا هترجم وكمان هعلي صوتك. فبعلم.
مساعدات جسدية ولفظية
ايمائيه وشيء فيزيكال بروب. انا عايز اقول بالانجلش عشان انتوا بتستخدموا
في نفس الوقت في منها كل واحدة بتتقسم لحاجتين، في منها كلي وفي منها جزئي.
فيزيكال بروب.
أنا هقول لك أنا هو استغل الكرسي بتاعي فجاي دلوقتي يبتلوس. Okay. So let me just translate that.
It's a stimulus you provided after SD.
Yes.
Where the child to get the
Yes. So prompting is actually, I'm gonna use common language because here we have like the future of tomorrow. Some of you may know prompts as it is actually sums up in help. The word help, H-E-L-P. Prompt is actually helping the child to acquire the skill, right? So I'm just helping a child to acquire the skill, no matter what. So we use different kind of prompts, like physical prompt, which can actually be done by two things, a full physical and partial physical. Why? Why do we have a prompt hierarchy, actually? Why do we have that?
We have to slowly create the prompts.
Yes, why is that?
transition from host to list or list to
Yes. No, it comes out to something else. I was saving it actually. It's called prompt dependency. We all know about that, and it's actually in the barriers assessment. Who is responsible for prompt dependency? Actually, it's the caregivers, the stakeholders. Who is the stakeholders? Yes, parents, teacher, whoever, deal with a child in a daily basis. That's the difference between caregivers and stakeholders. Stakeholders actually is about parents, teacher, therapists, whoever deal with a child every day. But with the caregiver, and that على فكرة في الكورس. With the caregiver, I'm giving the beans. Yes, I'm spilling the beans. I'm spilling the beans here. Caregivers, actually, it's about the parents mostly. Yes. So, prompt dependency, this is actually what a prompt hierarchy was done. It's actually to work with fading the prompt, because we never get to a child, which we always encounter, 11, 12, 13, 15, which is actually depending on someone to help him for everything. And which here in, most of the regions here, actually, most parents actually depend on getting help to assist the child. But they are not trained to actually helping. So we get like these, older children, but actually depending on help, on someone to help them, which is actually a barrier, because once he is dependent on someone to help him, he's not gonna learn. Because what prompting can actually demeans, it demeans what? It demeans a self, initiation, a spontaneous, actions, spontaneous thinking, like spontaneous language, spontaneous actually going to initiate, to go and do any thing because he is depending on someone to tell him what to do, someone to tell him what to eat, someone to tell him what to dress, someone to tell him what to do with every aspect in his life. That's what prompting dependency can actually cause. It causes a child, a man, a girl, a grown-up men and girls that are depending on someone to tell them what to do. That's what prompt dependency can actually put us here. Okay, reinforcements. Reinforcement actually are the same. Once the child is actually depending on reinforcement no matter what, then it gets reinforcement dependency. But it's not actually in the values. But we do see that. We see that we demean the motivation to actually working, to actually learning, because there are no, he sees like there are no things that I can benefit from. So when a reinforcement, we give reinforcement no matter what, that's what can really cause. It can cause that he's not going to be motivated unless there is something waiting for him that he actually likes. And what reinforcement is actually a tricky one. Why reinforcement is a tricky? If I tell you, Enos, I'm gonna tell you that every day you're gonna get like your coffee in the morning. What you're gonna say? Yes, each day I come up, this is what reinforcement, this is actually what reinforcement are. I'm gonna tell you that every day you're gonna get a coffee in order to get to work. If you wake up one morning and you see like there are no coffee left, see, that's what addiction can really do to you. It's about addicting to reinforcement. I'm sorry that I have to use this term, but it's actually an addiction that keeps on growing. Keeps on growing. How is that? How is addiction keeping growing? Addiction to reinforcement. It's like he keeps wanting reinforcement. If I'm not gonna get it, you know, someone tell you, okay, you can come with us, we're gonna go out, and you're gonna come with us, but you're not gonna eat anything or drink anything. Are you gonna be motivated to go out? This is the same. It's reinforcement, it's about reinforcement. So reinforcement, actually Skinner says that reinforcement goes where reinforcement flows. Where behavior goes where reinforcement flows. This means that I'm only gonna act because there are a reinforcement that is coming over me, that actually motivates me to go on and on and on. واحد يتكلم دلوقتي عن also, what reinforcement we do is we keep fading. Reinforcement fading is actually, you know, I give reinforcement and I'm actually wanting to fade. How do we fade a reinforcement, actually?
My differential reinforcement. I reinforce the independence response, and maybe I can use the verbal phrase for prompt response.
Okay, so what if I only use differential reinforcement when I need to teach him another behavior, another social significant behavior? So if it's just a plain old reinforcement for nothing else, I'm gonna just wanna motivate him to do stuff. If there are any questions, just write it, and I'm gonna answer it at the end, because I need you to focus. Just it's just like maybe half an hour. I'm not gonna be long. Believe me, I can't be long. So what reinforcement actually means, what fading can really do is I give it in order to get it motivate to an actual automatic reinforcer inside of him. How do we get anyone, any human, I'm not talking just about children, how do we get them to actually do something without me acquiring them to, I want him to do it for himself. How do we do that? Yes.
احكي على اللي فهمته.
اتفضلي.
اوكي. هسا لما احنا بنكون بدايه التعلم بنكون بنعطي تعزيز مباشره وعلى كل استجابه. بعدين نصير كل مثلا استجابتين، بعدين كل 3 استجابات، بعدين بنصير نبعد بين التعزيز بين المرات الاولى واللي بعدها. بعدين بنبلش نخفي التعزيز اصلا، لانه اصلا بوصل الطفل معنا لعند التعميم اللي هو المفروض ما بيحتاج فيه تعزيز.
ليه؟ ليه هو مش محتاج تعزيز؟
لا، لانه
اتقن
المهاره صارت موجوده عنده.
بالنسبه لي
صارت اوتوماتيكي موجوده عنده، فهو مش محتاج.
عشان في حاجات هنا عشان ما خدش الكورس.
لا
ثانية واحدة ما انت لو بتاخد الكورس بتقول كده. تمام. طيب. ماشي يا ميس، حلو قوي. Okay, I'm gonna translate that now. So what I can do with reinforcement, how do I get him to motivational operation? I need him to be motivated to work to something I want him to acquire. That's what motivation is all about. It's about creating his inner motivation. Just like you. Why do you come to work every day? What's reinforcement for you? What's reinforcement for you? The salary, yes. We want it to be given each week, actually. Yes. Money. There's nothing wrong with wanting money, or else how we gonna live? شفت الكرسي بيعمل ايه؟ So this is actually an actual inner motivation for me to want this salary, because salary actually means that I can, get food, pay rent, whatever. So this is actually the inner motivation. So how do we get a child that doesn't know what money is right now to be motivated to work with me? I'm actually working on his reinforcements, on his likes. So some of you may confuse preferencing with reinforcement. Do you do that? Okay, that's not the thing. And actually it's a common mistake between special therapists. Why is that? Preference says وراك معلش خلاص عشان تقوي، بس في حد لابس اهلاوي. تمام. طب حلو. طب انا كنت بقول ايه؟ شوية حاجات كده. بالظبط. نقعد هنا بقى كله هينام. معلش حقك عليا والله، مش بكيفي والله العربي، بس الانجليش اغلبيه.
صحيح.
مستر محمد هو اللي مقترح عليكم كده. So a preference can لا خلاص قرشنا السكن. لا خلاص يعني اقل من نص ساعه. انتوا تعبتوا من حاجه؟ هناخد بريك. بصي انا عايزه بريك، كملي حضر لي القهوه. شايفه ازاي؟
هذا التعزيز إليه.
No, not finish.
دوري ما شاء الله.
دلوقتي يفهموا عربي وانجليزي كله. So what preference? I'm sorry, just. Preference actually means that it can be a potential reinforcement for labor. That's the difference between preference and reinforcement. So where do we get reinforcement from? How you get a child and you already assess him, and how do we get to know his reinforcement when we haven't, dealt with him yet? We haven't worked with him yet. How do we get reinforcement? No, in the beginning. I haven't actually, worked with him yet. يعني لسه ما اشتغلتش معاه. قبل البيت يا جماعة أنا بتكلم أول ما يجي لي الطفل.
حاجة تلفت انتباه. أول ما يحدث انتباه.
هو أيوة. This is actually called I give his reinforcement for the indirect assessment. What's an indirect assessment is I leave the parents and the parents actually says what can they see their children likes and preferences, right? Which can actually work as a reinforcement for them. Okay? So, do I only depend on the parents tell me? Why is that?
For them, the home is like a natural setting, which, like, whatever they find at home, they won't necessarily find in the therapy center that they come to.
Yes, because I can't only depend on what the parents tell me. Some parents, and this is actually common here, they actually don't spend an actual time with their children because of work and, another factors. So, what do? I observe. That's what I get from the direct assessment. What direct assessment means that I depend on my solely observing of a child once I get him to work with me. So, what do I have to tell him about his reinforcement? I have to describe what I see. So I work with him and I actually see him turning into a toy, into a play someone, a plaything, whatever. That's what I can actually depend on me observing the child once we are together. And which can only serve for a great parent. What is parent?
Building a rapport.
Building a rapport. That's actually very nice. I'm not looking for definition you can see in books or protocols. I need your inputs, your actual understanding of building rapport. What's
That the child has to be comfortable with the therapist. Connected. Yes, connected.
Connected, yes. How can I connect the child?
Leading child-led play.
اربط الحاجه اللي هو بيحبها بيها.
ازاي؟
انا ممكن لو هخليه مثلا معايا مثلا في السيشن وهو حابب لعبه معينه، انا بالنسبه لي لو اول مقابله دي انا بسيبه يلعب لوحده، وبعد كده ابدا اربط اللعبه بيا، العبه بيها، اخليه يلعب، بعد كده ابدا اخدها، بعد كده ياخدها عن طريقي انا، بحيث ان هو يربط ان ما يقدرش ياخد الحاجه دي الا بيا.
So actually pairing means that the therapist is the actual reinforcement. He is becoming the actual reinforcement of a child. How does he do that? How to get from just a stranger to an actual reinforcement to him in order to get him to motivate to work with him, no matter what, no matter the skill, how complicated it is for him, how new it is for him. Yes. How do we get that? He identify himself with the reinforcement, the physical reinforcement he likes. So if I notice a child that he is actually liking the phone, and all of them are actually. So what do I get? I get like, okay, he is actually linking and viewing, and no matter the phone is, he's actually following, right? So I get the phone and actually, oh, you want something? What do you want? And he actually, you know, like initiate to go to the phone. So, oh, I can open it for you. That's actually bearing. To open for him and start, you know, like, oh, you want this? And I actually put music on for him. لا ده انت مش العيل. خلاص. تمام؟ هو بقى لما يكبر بقى يبقى اطلب منك اكليل الورد بعدين. Then I get to be, he is now motivated because he knows that I have the phone. If he gets the phone without any conditioning, then it's not gonna be me reinforcing him or me being a reinforcer. That's what actually the power of a reinforcement, not the power of the phone. It's actually the power of motivation. Yes, the power of reinforcement. But actually reinforcement is just like any other human behavior. What the humans are the best in. You get the participate. Yes. What are humans? Yes. Briefly. Humans are complicated. Reinforcers are complicated. Why is that? Why is reinforcer complicated? Why?
Every person is unique.
Why else? What else? Every reinforcer for any human, it's not the same. Yes. Why is that? Because actually reinforcements, just like human, it's tricky. Yes. Why is it tricky? Because ثانية واحدة بس أنا هنا بقول الكورس ثانية واحدة. Tricky because it keeps changing. It's always changing. This is why we need to actually emphasize on reinforcement, not to be given all the time. This is why we have like reinforcement feeding, reinforcement hierarchy, just like prompting. I'm only gonna give it because I give it in the when there is a new skill. I give it each time. And then when he starts to actually work so, increase his correct trials, I'm gonna fade it. I'm gonna change it. Not to be stuck on one reinforcer because he's gonna get satiated with it. It's about reinforcement satiation. When he gets satiation, once I get you to eat every day for a month, I'm gonna make you eat every day eggs, every day. Oh, well, another egg. Then you get to the feeling, when I say eggs, you say, oh my God, I can take another egg. That's what satiation can really actually mean. Is I'm got so full, so stuffed, that if I see another egg, I'm gonna vomit. Yes. That's for people who love eggs. So here, I'm only doing the opposite. I'm changing you for someone who loves eggs to someone who doesn't even hate the sight or the mentioning of eggs. This is ما هو ملل. هو applied behavior analysis ما بيعترفش بالملل، هو بيعترف بالحاجة اللي أقدر أقيسها. خلاص، إيه الحاجة اللي أقدر أقيسها؟ اللي هي الإشباع من الحاجة. الدافعية والإشباع. الإشباع. دلوقتي بنتكلم على الإشباع، تمام؟ أنا لما أقدر أدي الطفل كل يوم نفس الحاجة، نفس المعزز، بعد شوية خلاص. إيه ده؟ لا ما بقاش بيشتغل معايا، ليه؟ بس خلاص، لأن هو خلاص زهق منها، احنا بنقول زهق منها، ما بقتش تشتغل معايا، خلاص اشبعته، ما بقت بالنسبة له عادي، موجودة زي أي حاجة. This is actually why we take that reinforcement. You can only, set a reinforcement just to work with you only. So when we use token boards, we emphasize on getting a reinforcement that he actually is wanting to actually motivated to work with you and wait and tolerate delayed reinforcement and just only to be motivated to wait for your reinforcement.
لازم المعزز يبقى خاص بيك انت، ما ينفعش حد تاني
Yes.
يستخدمه عشان يقدر يديك استجابات ليك انت بس.
And this is actually one of the common mistakes that most therapists fall into, because they use if his reinforcement is a cartoid, or therapists actually work with him on a cartoid, which is not correct. You have to create his motivation to work. You have to observe what can actually be something different than the other therapists work with. This is actually a trick we can apply. So here we are talking, we have to include the verbal behavior. Why do I say the verbal behavior? Because you are already in the field. You already know what manding is. Actually, manding Skinner really, they took it from the word demand and the word command. He wanted to be something that is special, but actually manding is about, I hope you are having a good time. This workshop is actually for you. Okay, actually he was the one who asked for this workshop. So manding is about, yes, it's about asking for things. I actually like to simplify the science, because when you simplify things, you actually know how to do it. You give them the mindset that you actually, this is not difficult. This is actually something we do every day in each aspect of our life. We do it spontaneously. Manding. So what manding can be? Manding actually has so much different types. Why is manding is important? Okay, let me just tell you a story. ثانية واحدة عشان تمشي. Why manding is important? Okay, let me just tell you this scenario. So you get a sore throat, and the doctor tell you that you can't really talk for several days because you have an infection. So now you can't really open your mouth. You can't actually do sounds. You can't get sounds come out of you. Now, how is gonna be your day? Describe your day for me. If you get sore throats and you can't talk. Mr. Greg, can you describe for me how it's gonna be for you?
It's not going to work out.
No, just describe me if the doctor tells you not to open your mouth because you have a sore infect or a sore throat.
Very boring.
Okay, that's actually a good point. What else?
I won't be able to communicate. No communication.
Yes.
Mine is coming.
Yes. What is that can cause? What is that can affect actually? It affects a great deal. How it does affect a great deal? And so here is what I have been before. So when a doctor tells me that I can't talk, I can't really open my, then here I have to not to talk but communicate in order for people to actually understand what I want, right? So I get to sign, I get to point, and still people around me are not used for me. They are not used to actually understanding what am I doing, right? So how is my behavior going to be? I'm going to get frustrated, yes. Frustrated means that I'm gonna start acting out. So what does that mean to a child? So you get him a non-verbal child with so much problem behaviors. He hits, he bites, he actually jumps up and down. Why is that? Because he doesn't have a language. Because he doesn't know how to express himself. This is actually
The way of this express.
this is actually communicating. Communicating what man's actual importance. I only say that this is something that when I increase, the problem behavior actually reduce. This is the scale I'm talking about. Once the child is working his way up in communication, the problem behaviors is going to reduce. It's a scale. Yes. Why? Because he knows how to express himself, how to express his needs. This is what is the power of manding can really do. What is the power of communication, good communication can really do. It is about expressing myself, expressing them. So this is why when I get frustrated, I really acted out. You know, I flip the tables because no one understands me. This is what an actual child can really do. So this is the power of man. I really need to, I can't express this enough, that the cornerstone of communication is manding. Because manding is actually about the human expressing needs and expressing feelings and expressing everything else. So, what is other than mand? Yes, tact. What tact actually short of contact. Contact actually means that I am in contact with the environment, because tacting is actually labeling, right? He knows the names of stuff, the names of the elements, the name of everything around him. This makes him in contact with his environment, that he already knows his surroundings. That's the power of contact. So I always say that once you know the actual function, the actual idea, concept for each verbal behavior, then you're gonna know why is it important to teach him. It's not just something in books and I give it to him. Now you have to do it. Because it gives him to be in contact of everything that goes around him, of expressing himself in manding, of knowing everything that is. So and I get to tell him, okay, what is this? And he says, phone. This is actual, but also this is actually in demand, because I ask him and he answers. But what I'm aspiring to, actually, that he gets to name it without me telling him or asking him. That's spontaneous. That's what I'm looking for. Tacting in a spontaneous way. إن أنا عايزاه يتعلم إن هو يسمي الحاجة من غير ما نسأله. تمام؟ ودي يعني اللي هي أعلى حاجة. أنا أهم حاجة عندي إيه؟ وأنا بعلم الطفل عشان لما أنا أسأله هو يجاوبني ولا عشان هو initiate. He initiated the action. He initiates labeling. Yes. So this comes up to the listener responding. What listener responding actually means, that is the comprehension of language. Okay, now he knows this is a phone. But what is a phone? It's like a Hamlet. لا ما تنطقيش. It's like So, what is the phone? What is the actual concept of a phone? What is the comprehension of a phone? A phone is something that I get to call people, see something. That's a comprehension. This is a receptive language. This is a receptive language. So I go and see, and this is also for LRFCC, the function and class, because LRC, that is a phone. I get to tell him, go get me the red phone. Now he knows the phone. Now get me the red phone. This is actual, go get me the thing that I talk with. This is actually function. Because I'm only talking to him, asking him for the function of the thing. Okay? This is actually, a chaining of the skills. It goes step by step, and it's building up to another skill, and another complicated skill, and another complicated skill. This is where we get here to say an interval. And also before interval, we get to say that echoic. What is echoic? Buhaila, we never heard from you today. Can you tell me what echoic means? The producing of sounds. Yes. The producing of actually randomly sounds first. The producing of random sounds. Echoic means that I'm going to teach him not to vocalize. We never teach children to actually work with vocalizing words. It sounds first. So echoic means that I'm going to assess whether or not he has voices or sounds producing, and then I'm going to work with these sounds to actually train him to produce words. And then sentences, which comes out to be, which comes out to be the intraverbal. What's an intraverbal? The intraverbal. What's an intraverbal? Yes. So, like I said here, if I tell you it's the back and forth conversation, I ask you a question and he knows the good way to answer it. Right? I tell you, how are you today? You say, I'm fine. I tell you, what's your name? And you say your name. My name is this. So this is actually about the right and correct answer for each question, no matter what. And this actually goes up to a full conversation. This is what full conversation can really mean. Who do you think had a great conversation? A child when he comes to what age? This is actually a tricky question.
هي على حسب كعمر زمني ولا عقلي عشان دي
لا انسى العمر العقلي عشان بيبي ماب ما فيهوش عمر عقلي.
بالظبط. طيب يعني انا بالنسبه لي على حسب المرحله اللي هو هيقدر يوصل فيها لتجميع جمله.
I need the speech. Intraverbal. When do we introduce it to children?
Feel the conversation.
Usually when there is a level.
هو بالطبيعه 4 سنين 5 years. بالطبيعي 4 سنين.
Feel the conversation.
يعني هو ساندبرج وسكينر قالوا مش بالطبيعه 4 سنين انت جاي تعدل عليهم.
يعني اصل انا ربطتها على حسب ابني.
I need a special service. A great one is going to answer me this question, actually. Christy, I'm asking them a question here, and they don't want to listen. How is it intraverbal introduced to children? When it is introduced to children? This is actually, and only a great speech therapist is going to know this answer.
Maybe according to VB-MAPP, it's a
When they are
level 2.
explosive.
Yeah, after level
Yes, yes.
one
Why? Yeah, why is it begins solely from level 2?
Because more, if I have to speak on things in the past, mostly we'll build the vocabulary and then coming, because conversation, one-to-one conversation comes in the later stages. So
Yes.
the age level.
So level 2 actually comes up from 18 months to 30 months. There's no level 1. There's a 0 to 18 months can really do an intraverbal skill. No. No. There are no language. Only producing sounds and this is actually what an intraverbal tricky question, because I needed to be focused on why is there an interverbal in level 1, because there are no interverbals with children from 0 to 18 months. ما فيش حد عنده لغة لحد سنة ونص، قبل سنة ونص ما فيش. تمام؟ Okay. So this is about what's next. What's the next for intraverbals? So once he is trained for intraverbal,
writing and maths.
yes, and it's actually a linguistic structure. So once he knows how to answer questions, he's gonna, be trained. I want him to learn how to actually complete a full sentence, to produce a full sentence. Yes, a full structured language. It's about grammar. Yeah. Yes, of course. So once he gets to actually know how to answer questions, I need him to learn the proper grammar to do that properly according to his age. Okay. So now here, a placement and IEB goals. Placement actually means that I get to put him in his right age and level. So what is an IEB? Can anyone tell me what is an IEB? Huh?
خطة تعليمية.
Yes,
الخطوات يعني مثلا لما تنفتح
What is it? Short individual educational plan. Can anyone tell me what's an individual education plan for? What is it for?
To define the goals, like
The academic goals, actually. So when there are globally now something called a school-based ABA. What school-based ABA actually means that they take the main principles of ABA and actually apply it in school systems, which is actually, like a big thing in America. There are no schools now that is not based on ABA science, because most of inclusion and integration systems are using school-based ABA, which they are using the individual educational plan. Individual education plan actually sets for 1 year. Did you know that? Because it's an academic year. It's a school year.
عشان المدارس كأنها مدرسة سنة دراسية.
بالضبط. It's actually set for 1 year. And most classrooms, educations, knows that it is IEB is set for a year, and then actually uses task analysis and uses, divided to actually acquire these skills that are both in the IEB. Okay. So this is, I'm just gonna be short here because once I did the prompting, I need to just emphasize on two things that we use. Errorless teaching, okay, and error correction. Does anyone knows the difference?
اوكي الايرورلس تيتشنج هي تعلم من الاخطاء، بستخدمه انا لما تكون المهاره جديده بدي احد من الاخطاء لحد ما الطفل يبدا يفهم الكونسبت ايش مطلوب منه. يعني مثلا انا دلوقتي مثلا عملت دروب على الجوال، الطفل ما بيعرف ايش الجوال، كان ست لانجوج فرضا. فلما انا بحكي له مثلا اعطيني الجوال، مباشره بمسك ايده واعطيني الجوال واعطي تعزيز. مرتين ثلاثة قبل ما أعطيه فرصة إنه هو لحاله إذا جابها ديبندنت لحاله فبيكون التعزيز أعلى. بالتالي نقدر مثلا نضيف ديستراكتر ثاني أما الايرور كوركشن فهي أوريدي مهارة بتكون الطفل تعلمها، فأنا بستخدم بس كديستراكتر بسيطة عشان أصحح له الخطأ مرة ثانية وبالتالي برضه بيتعزز عليه.
So what the difference between error correction and errorless teaching? Once I get to work with a child in a new skill, I get to teach him in an errorless correction, errorless teaching. What is errorless teaching? So I say, this is yes. So he gets to be like, he doesn't know what is this. He doesn't know the naming of it. And I'm trying to teach it for him. So I give him the question and at the same time the answer. I get to say, oh, this is glasses. What is this? This is glasses. What is this? This is glasses. This is what I do when it's a new skill that I'm trying to teach him. Okay, this is errorless teaching. This means I don't get make him stand or do an error. Yes, do something wrong. I give him the question and the answer. So in some other, time when I'm training him, then I get to use error correction. So I say, what is this? And he says, this is, yes, or this is pencil, or whatever. So I get to say, okay, what is this? And I only count like 3 seconds. And then I give prompting, right?
يعني لو هو غلط اديله 3 دقايق كتدريب؟
لا 3 دقايق.
3 ثواني معلش مساعدة.
خلصت ما تتكلمش تاني.
3 ثواني.
3 ثواني.
لا بس عشان ديلي ممكن يكون غلط فيها بس بدون تركيز.
ما هو اوريدي غلط. انا خلاص عرفت ان هو غلط. فانا مش هديله تايم ديلي برومبت. ليه اديله تايم ديلي برومبت وانا عارفه ان هو غلط فيها وهيغلط فيها تاني؟
ايوه. طب ما هو ممكن في بعض الاحيان ان هو يكون غلط فيها يعني عدم تركيز بس مش اكتر.
ماشي، ما انا مش عايزه عدم التركيز. One of the main things that we work with on acquiring a new skill is increasing fluency. I'm building up momentum. This is why I use error corrections. It doesn't mean once he knows the skills that I can sometimes train him and find out that he has actually lose the skill. It's about retaining the skill. And also, I'm not going to give him a time delay just because he was meant to know the skill, because we already spent so much time learning the skill. Then we name that this is a glasses, not a pencil, not anything else. So I don't give him a time delay because I want to increase something that's called fluency of responding, fluency of behavior. What fluency means that it's about timing. It's about actual correct responses over and over and over and over in a small amount of time. Yes, اللي هي التلقى. تمام؟ This is why. لا الكومون دي حاجة.
لا يعني
ما انت ما تلخبطش عشان في ناس هنا يعني الكلام ده أول مرة يسمعوه. واحدة واحدة. So this is the difference between errorless correction and why do I say this? Because these actually are the main strategies in teaching as an applied behavior analysis we use in VB-MAPP. This is why it's important to know that VB-MAPP actually relies on main aspects and main strategies in applied behavior analysis. This is actually a power breaking point. Okay, thank you so much for coming today. This was all. I hope you have a اقفلي بقى عندك عشان ده فيه اسرار عسكريه. ترجمي انا مش فاهمه.
انا كنت بتكلم عن موضوع اللي بيسأل على استجابة المستمع، بيسأل على حاجات فيها وعايز
what is the difference
استجابة المستمع والفرق بينها وبين استجابة المستمع حسب الفئة والسمة والوظيفة.
الله يعطيك العافية. ذكرتني وقت الدروس اللي استمع عليها، بس علمني تحكي عربي، هي المحظوظة يعني شوي غلط شوي. ذكرتني بإيهاب والكورس، ما بدي آخذ البورد. طيب امتى بدي آخذ البورد؟ بيفهموا الشباب.
أنا قلت هذا difference intraverbal means comprehension. That's a high of communication. LRF that's a you know LRF.
أنا قلتها له قبل كده، قلت له مثلا الفرق بينهم هو LR. أيوه LR
Listen, respond. I tell him that